Hello peeps, how's it going? It's the hillbilly halfwit. I've actually cut a couple of fields of well, it's not going to be hay. I think it's going to be nearer to silage, I think. And it's gotten a bit overcast now, but we had to do something. So the crop isn't that big, but there we are. Do you know, it's quite short stuff, so I'm actually afraid to ted this out in case I can't get it back into rows, because I've only got a hay bob, which is for those who don't know about it, it's a job to gather it back together again. So we'll see how we get on with this. Anyway, what was I going to talk about today? The orange man has struck again. I don't care what you think of Mr. Trump. I don't care. He says things. I don't agree with everything he says at all. But man alive, that man can make an entrance. He went to Scotland yesterday on his plane. He was there for 40 minutes. And he gave one interview. I think it was GB News, maybe Beth Turner asked him a question. And his first answer was, they said, what do you think of what's happening in the UK at the moment? And he said, you lot need to stop this invasion. Europe is in peril, it's being invaded. And oh my God, I shouldn't laugh, but he's just got the gift of winding people up. Love him or hate him, he says what's obvious. And I'm a bit like that, I got to be honest with you. So am I just kicking the ball for my dog? I'm a bit like that. Sometimes you got lots of people in the room who won't say the obvious. And I've been to meetings like that and things like that, and you just sat there thinking, they're all pussyfooting around everything. Everybody's afraid to upset anybody, and they won't say nothing to anybody. And I'm sat with my arms crossed, and I'm thinking, why don't people just say it? And maybe it's a Tourette syndrome thing, I don't know. But I just think, fuck this, and I just say what I think. And old Trump has got that. He don't care what they think of him. He don't give a toss what they think of him. And I think that's how he's got there, you know. I think that's how he's got where he is. He's got thick skin. And Elle, come here, come on, sweep. And what it is, if any other person had been in that position, the mainstream media and everything would have kowtowed, and they wouldn't have got to be president, because he just realizes, he just ignores them and just drives through it all. I'm not saying he's a good man or bad man or anything. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he says and the way he goes about things, but on about 50% or maybe more, maybe 60 to 70% of the subjects regarding immigration and things, he's spot on. So, like I said, 40 minutes in Scotland, and he said what everybody else is saying in the public is saying. We're being fucking invaded, and that is the reality. And not just the UK, the whole of Europe. Germany is in crisis because they just can't deal with all the people that have been coming in there that Angela Merkel sent in. Germany was one of the richest countries in Europe, and was it Greece that had they had problems, didn't they? Because they had Olympics there, and because you have to have Olympics there, you have to spend a lot of money to get all the infrastructure for the Olympics and stuff, like we did when we had it. And it basically made them bankrupt to get the fucking Olympics there. And if you weren't alive back then, it wasn't that long ago really, maybe 20 years ago, if that. Yeah, maybe 10 years ago. And basically they went bankrupt and it all went to shit. And then the European Union wanted money, and they basically made, before that, Germany was very rich because they were doing a lot of industrialization in Germany. They were making everything, lots of cars and selling them around the world. But then they had, because Angela Merkel was in charge, she started bailing them out. And they did it 2 or 3 times. And it basically crippled Germany. Because there's something about the finances of the countries. If you're fully a member, you have to, I can't remember the total ins and outs of it, but if you're fully a member of that club, you basically have to start giving your money into a collective. That's what I understand. And it crippled Germany. Well, then they started taking in lots of migrants, worse than the UK. Come on. And, she was finally ousted from there. But it's destroyed Germany. Very, very... I know they bombed our grannies, but to be fair to the country, it was a very industrious country, but now it's really bad, like France, isn't it? They can hardly tell a white French person anymore. Come on, sweep, yeah. So Trump just basically said the quiet bit out loud, didn't he? As he always does. We are being invaded. I'm not afraid to say it. We're being invaded by people who hate our guts, to be quite honest. And it's not something that's happened randomly. Some people have decided this, and we're expected to just put up with it. Of course, nobody wants any violence or anything like that, but there comes a point when, that's why reform is getting popular now, because you create these things, don't you? If politicians act in a way that starts pushing the normal folk around, eventually somebody's going to come along, a leader of a party, and say, we've had a guts full of this. And that's what Farage is, really. It's the thought of all of us, I think. All of us with some balls to say it. Because lots of people who do well out of this, lots of people involved in bringing these people in or in charge of these councils, they make a lot of money out of this, and we all know it. And they're starting to get worried that they're going to lose their political power, which they are. I just see in Manchester earlier that they tried to push a new clean air zone in Manchester to so it was like London, like a ULEZ thing. They're having to stop that now. They spent £100 million, and now they're not doing it because the election is coming in a few years' time, and they realise people have got wise to this all, and they won't be voting for them. Don't you be what's called by this? That's what it's all about, votes. As soon as the next election goes along, they'll do the same thing again. But I think Reform have got them on the run now. In Wales now, they're almost trying to reverse the 20-mile-an-hour thing to try and help them out, to help themselves out again. But it's too late, I'm afraid. You're a bunch of tossers. Dickford's 20 mile an hour. I think somebody's written into the... My dog's playing now. Somebody's written to the Welsh Assembly, and they've said that the 20 mile an hour, the costings for it should be taken out of the ministers who were involved in it. That's pretty true, I think. Wasting money on an industrial scale. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I haven't seen any media today, so I don't know if anything has happened regarding them things in Epping again. I see they were trying to wind it up again last night. But I think people have got wise to it now. They don't trust anything they say, not a bloody word. Well, I don't anyway. So there we are. So I got a couple of fields down, and it's really, really overcast today. I'm almost reluctant to go through it again. I got so short. Look, see, a lot of it got burnt. The sun burnt it when it was standing up, and then it grew up again a bit below it. So it's not that bad of a crop here, but I don't think it's the highest feed value indeed. But there we are. As a farmer, you just got to get on with it. Christ, I've rambled on for ages, haven't I? Well, there we are, peeps. There's my thoughts today. The orange man has wound him up, and he's only been on the ground for 40 minutes and went. And he had the European Union leader and Starmer running there like little babies. Like I said, love him or hate him, I just love the way he winds these people up, and I'm sure he does it on purpose. I'm absolutely sure he does it to wind them up. You can imagine him sat in his office thinking, I'm going there today, what can I say to give him some shit? That's what I'm sure he's doing. But there we are. So there we are, peeps. Thanks for watching the Hillbilly Halfwit. Ta-da.